Firefighters at Rave, and today's video consists of story time. And so the book that we're going to read today is Curious George and the Firefighters. So let's see what adventure George is going to get into today. Look, fire station number 3. Okay, this is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today, George and his friend and the man with the yellow hat joined Mrs. Gray and her class on their field trip to the fire station. The fire chief was waiting for them right next to the big red fire truck. "Welcome," he said, and led everyone upstairs to begin their tour. There you go. That's a really big fire truck, that's for sure. There was a kitchen with a big table, and there were snacks for everyone. The fire chief told them all about being a firefighter. George tried hard to pay attention, but there were so many things for a little monkey to explore, like that shiny silver pole in the corner. Where did that pole go? George was curious. I wonder where that. Do you guys have any idea where that pole might take him? Let's find out. Why, it went back downstairs. There was the great big fire truck, there was a map of the city, and there was a whole wall full of coats and hats and big black boots. They're all lined up right there. Okay, George had an idea. First, he stepped into a pair of boots. Next, he picked out a helmet, and finally, George put on a jacket. He was a firefighter. Suddenly, ring! That alarm, the bell went off. I wonder what that means. The firefighters all rushed in. "This is not my helmet," said one. "My boots are too big," said another. "Hurry, hurry," called the fire chief. A big bright red light on the map of the city told them just where the fire was. There's no time to waste. You can see the map right there with the light. One by one, the firefighters jumped into the fire truck, and so did George. But George left some of his gear back behind. Look at that. The fire truck with all the firefighters sped off out of the firehouse, and so did George. The siren screamed and the lights flashed. The truck turned right, then it turned left. Woo, 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 went the whistle, and George held on tight. There it goes. They're going all off. Oh, where is it going to take them? Let's find out. And just like that, the fire truck and all the firefighters pulled up to a pizza parlor on Main Street. Smoke was coming out of a window in the back, and a crowd was gathering in the street. "Thank goodness you're here," cried the cook. Look at that. Everyone's leaving. That's good. Okay. The firefighters rushed off the truck and started unwinding their hoses. They knew just what to do, and George was ready to help. He climbed up the hose reel when, look at that, he's right up there. One of the firefighters saw George trying to help, and he took George by the arm and led him out of the way. "A fire is no place for a monkey," he said to George. "You stay here where it's safe." And George felt terrible. Look, I'm guessing he felt terrible because he couldn't help with the fire. George sat on the bench and looked around. Next to him on the ground was a bucket full of balls. George reached in and took one out. It fit in his hand just right, like the apple he'd had for a snack. And others are gathering around on the tree. That looks like a baseball team right there. Look right there. The firefighters are hard at work. A little girl was watching George. He tried to give her the ball, but she was too frightened. George took a ball, and then another. "Look," a boy said, "the monkey is juggling." George had 3 of the balls, and now look at him. That's cool. Look at George. Okay. And the boy took a ball from the cage and tossed it to George, but it went too high. George climbed up onto the fire truck to get it. Oh, I feel like this is going to lead somewhere. George is right there. There he is. Now George had 4 balls to juggle. He threw the balls higher and higher. He juggled with his hands. He juggled with his feet. He could do all kinds of tricks. Look, everyone's watching him now, right on top of the fire truck. The boy threw another ball to George. George threw a ball back to the boy. The little girl reached down and picked up a ball too. Soon, all the children were throwing and catching back and forth. How about that? Way to go, George. Look at that. The fire chief came to tell everyone that the fire was out. Just then, a little girl laughed and looked and said, "Look, Mommy, a fire monkey." "Hey," called the fire chief, "what are you doing up there?" "What a wonderful idea," the little girl's mother said to the fire chief, "bringing this brave little monkey to help with the children when they're frightened." "Oh," said the fire chief. "Well, thank you." Look, see? Everyone's now picking it up. George is still on top of the fire truck. Before long, the fire truck was back at the firehouse where a familiar voice called, "George!" It was the man with the yellow hat. "This little monkey had quite an adventure," said one of the firefighters. "Is everyone all right?" asked Miss Gray. And you can see them right there. Looks like they're all singing and they're very happy. "Yes, it was just a small fire," said the fire chief, "and George was a big help." Now the field trip was coming to an end, but there was one more treat in store. And you'll see the kids are using the pool now to come down to meet with everyone. All the children got to take a ride around the neighborhood on the shiny red fire truck, and they each got their very own fire helmet, even George. And it was just the right size for a brave little monkey. Look, the end. You'll see them all. They're all very happy. Well, that was quite an adventure that Curious George took us on. And I hope that everyone enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed reading it. I want you all to know that we miss you and we love you. And I can't wait to read more stories for you guys. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye!